Blue gum. It happened in August of 1973. Rita and I and our three kids were on one of our usual summer automobile trips. Eddie was 14, David was 12, and Daphne 9. From our home in Phoenix, our first stop was in the Bay Area for a couple of days with Rita's parents. From there, our itinerary included Lake Shasta in Northern California, then on to Redwood Country and the Rogue River in southern Oregon, about 2 weeks in all. We didn't get away from San Mateo and Rita's parents until 3 p.m., which put me in a somewhat sour mood. I had pictured a mid-morning departure. So the sun was declining in the west as we motored north on Interstate 5 in our roomy Volkswagen bus. We had covered only about 140 miles as we approached the town of Willows, but Rita and the kids would soon be ready to stop for the night. Since my plan had been to make it to Lake Shasta that day, I had no idea where we might find a comfortable motel along this unappealing portion of I-5. Then, just a mile short of Willows, I spotted a sign beside the highway which read, "Blue Gum Motel. Quiet. Nestled in the eucalyptus groves. 6 miles." An arrow pointed off to the right. From many previous trips in this area, I knew that many motels we might find in Willows itself, or the towns north of there, would be jammed up against the noisy freeway. "Blue Gum is our place," I said to Rita as I took the off-ramp and headed east. In just a few minutes, the narrow 2-lane road we were on dead-ended at California State Highway 45, which the map showed ran parallel to I-5 for about 60 miles, serving the tiny settlements and farms along its route. It was like stepping into another world, a silent, drowsy, peaceful world. 100 yards or so up the highway brought us to the Blue Gum Motel. It stood alone, set well back from the highway. 1 story, 1930s style, with stucco units in a large U shape with a big swimming pool at the center of the U. It was in reasonably decent shape, although beginning to show its age. It had bargain rates written all over it. It was definitely my kind of place. There was no other development we found within 2 or 3 miles. One could drive into Willows for dinner, but we usually carried our own food with us and ate in our room. As darkness eventually fell, we sat out by the pool along with several other families much like ours. We felt relaxed and very much at home in the comforting setting. It was a very warm evening, and the door of the unit next to ours was standing open to catch any late breeze. Their television was on, tuned to a program which intrigued us. We turned on our own TV and began watching, for the first time ever, an episode of The Waltons, then in its 2nd season. We became instant fans, and for a number of years after, our family watched it religiously. It ran for a total of 9 seasons. Through those years, for some reason, we could all picture where we were when we saw that program, the Blue Gum Motel. To be continued.